So the mainstream media, you've mentioned some maturation in general, but also I think it's been surprising that a lot of outlets now are devoting reporters to this beat, Forbes, BuzzFeed, and others. What do you think of the quality of that coverage, and what does that represent? Is that about a realization that this is going to become a more and more legitimate part of business and medical treatment in the country? What do you think's behind that?
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways it's overdue, and it's changed so quickly. I remember when I was leaving journalism school to work on a book about cannabis, when I said that, it was almost like really embarrassing to say, and people did not take it seriously. It was sort of like, what are you doing? This, go get a job, like what? Like that's like sort of this untouchable subject. And my classmates sort of just didn't know what to say about it because it wasn't an issue anyone knew about. But now it's like a lot of those people are coming back and saying, hey, like I'm doing a story about this or I'm doing a story about that. So I think that it's become acceptable, it's safe now, and then also it's a political issue, right? So you have Republican presidential candidates commenting on this. So the minute that you realize this is going to probably come up, actually I think it's absolutely going to come up during the election, and election coverage is hot, these reporters need to start getting well versed on this.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're catching up, basically, is what they're doing. For a long time, it's been kind of the same way. And now at High Times, we're being approached by a lot of financial institutions, like CNBC or Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg and stuff, because they're interested in the business angle. And I think that's gone a long way to changing perceptions because there's money to be made now, and they view it as inevitable.
When you think about the mainstream approach, how is that different from what you do? Is it just that you're steeped in it, you've been doing it longer? Is there an element of advocacy in your kind of journalism? How does it differ from the mainstream approach?
Absolutely. High Times, we've been around now 41 years, and we do advocacy journalism. We try to make people aware of what's going on. Not just the jokey, funny stuff, but like the drug war news. If you look at what's happened in Mexico, it's devastating. There's no joke to be made about it. Thousands of people have been killed. So we try to open people's eyes about that, but we are an advocacy magazine. We have a cause, and our cause is to legalize marijuana.
I'm going to launch a publication called Cannabis Wire soon with a co-founder, and it's not, I wouldn't say we do advocacy journalism. It's more, I wanted to do Cannabis Wire because I have found that people are not really aware of the intricacies of the movement, and I think that my biggest dream would be that like every voter would go to the ballot box informed, and that people would start asking critical questions about how we legalize, because I think now it's getting better, but people are sort of like do it or don't, right? But it doesn't have to be the way it's been. We don't have to legalize, let's say, the way Colorado legalized or the way Washington legalized. People have options, and I don't think they know what those options are. Everyone that I meet assumes that because I work on cannabis, I am an advocate. Mm-hmm. They assume that I'm a consumer and an advocate, right? Are you an advocate if you say prohibition has failed? Right. And I think journalists need to start asking themselves that question, like what can you say that's just a fact, right? Can we just say, hey, let's all agree prohibition has failed? That doesn't mean you're an advocate or that you have like a dog in the fight.
Right, when there's rampant disinformation, merely informing people, I guess could be seen as a form of advocacy, but it's actually what journalism is about, right?
Right, so I don't think we're just not having those, conversations yet. And something I was talking to Danny about, which is like, I want AP Style to get on this. I want people to start really discerning, like sometimes people are using decriminalization where they mean legalization. Mm-hmm. They're calling it the same thing. Do we capitalize strain names? Do we, these little things, like do we, are we counting states with CBD only medical cannabis laws as medical cannabis laws? Some papers do, some don't. So you might see one paper saying one day that they're like 20-something medical cannabis states, another one saying the next day they're 30-something. How confusing is that for readers? So we're just not yet like coming together, putting our minds together as journalists and saying like, how do we talk about this properly?